This is Let's Talk with Paul Raffel.
Hello.
And Shelley Rugg.
Howdy.
And myself, Charles Schultz. Getting to the root causes of the important issues of the day. This on-air community forum believes your voice matters and welcomes all thoughts and views without judgment. Please join today's conversation by calling 415-663-8492 or tweet us at Let's Talk on KWMR. And our topic for today, and do please call if you're sitting home on Thanksgiving and would like an excuse to separate yourself from your family and
maybe the whole family can get online.
The whole family can get on the phone.
Call
yes.
us.
That's right.
415-663-8492. Yes, and there's no excuse for not calling in today. I get stopped in the street all the time saying, well, I love your show, but I just can't listen to it. I'm at work. Well,
not today.
Now then.
So what is the topic, Mr.
Let
Raffel?
the dog see the rabbit. It's Thanksgiving 2017. I thought I'd be a little specific.
What are we giving thanks for this year?
Exactly. That is the question. What are we giving thanks for? Oof. This time last year, there was a lot of gnashing and wailing of what?
Gnashing of
teeth and gnashing.
Gnashing of hair, yes.
A lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth over the results of the election. We didn't even do a Thanksgiving show last year. We actually did the
election?
No, it was, I guess so. We did an election show, but we also did the pipeline. That was going on last year. Which is
pipeline. They just had a spill of 210,000 gallons of oil just spilled from some part of it.
And yet it's probably still going to get the green light this coming week. This coming week, yeah.
Oh, boy. So that's always fun.
So are we thankful for that? We're thankful to the Native American protest and the encampment and all the hard knocks they took, and
Well,
hey.
I would say I'd take the old Ho Chi Minh line. That's what Ho Chi Minh. We always invoke him on Thanksgiving here.
It's a tradition now.
Which he told the activists that came to North Vietnam. He said, "Look, could you go back and fix your country? We'll take it from here. It'll be fine. But could you go home and deal with your problem?" And that's mostly my position, which is people should deal with their own backyard. That said, I certainly hope that the activists, supported by many people in West Marin, are successful in preventing that pipeline from being completed. It doesn't look good. But Shelley, you be our source of levity. Surely you have some positive
No, my name's
things
Shelley.
What did I call you?
Shirley.
Did I call you Shirley?
No, you. I'm just teasing
Stop
you,
calling me
Charles.
My name's Lenny, and that's Squiggy. He's got the beard.
Shirley, I can't be serious.
Shirley, please stop calling me Shirley. So you might have something positive to say. No?
Positive, yeah. Well, I was thinking about this.
The lone positive voice in the room.
I was hoping. Maybe not.
Well, finding positivity in negativity.
Yeah.
Well, the bad news is the good news, and I could go on about that. It's Walter Benjamin's Angel of History, but we'll save that for the 58 other times I've said that.
So, can we thank Trump for opening our eyes to a lot of things?
Well, the New York Times have finally turned on the Clintons. Look at that. They said if Hillary had been elected, maybe all of this sexual abuse stuff would have been brushed under the carpet.
Would not have come out.
Yeah, which is the
right.
Surprising for the New York Times to have finally come out.
The moves have been so bold and blatant that most human beings can see what a mess things are, but clearly there's a whole lot of us human beings that are happy about some of these things that are happening.
That are coming up.
And
people are getting more involved, more
people
are more aware,
more activism, more grassroots,
less frightened of coming forward, perhaps. And don't be frightened to call in 415-663-8492. What a segue!
Don't worry, nobody is listening, so you can call in.
It's just you and us.
It's just you and us. Indeed, stop by the station. We're having a little bit of a party. Shelley has a candy bar. Very naughty.
I won't say what. what you all are doing.
Well, it's not a sort of Marianne Faithful thing. I mean, it's fine. Anyway.
Could you pass it over here, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'm just wearing my bustier.
Anyway,
And you should see my clown suit.
yes,
Exactly,
indeed.
yes, you're looking very fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
That fur trimming does it all.
The nose is always
Who
the nose.
does your makeup?
Well, that's all me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Does your makeup. If you do your own clown makeup, please call in to our Thanksgiving show.
That is the
663.
tradition of Thanksgiving, is
That's-
clowns and engines.
We've gotten to it. Thank you for the wonderful vistas, Miwok Indians. We should, I suppose, be thankful to Merrill, our one Miwok Indian and
Oh,
Marshall.
Yeah.
I gave him a ride home from Point Reyes Station just the other day. So I think we're square, basically. I think it's
Yes, we got Marshall. He got a ride home.
He got a ride home. We're even.
Wow, you're a saint.
I-
And by the way, when you do call in, because you are going to call in, aren't you? Yes, of course
Oh,
you are.
yeah.
Call in. It's just fun today. You don't have to think. You can just call in and say Happy Thanksgiving, just to let us know that.
Someone's there.
And when you call in and hear the phone ringing, just hang on. You'll hear this. You'll hear a weird little buzzy digital noise as I put you in, something like that. And when you hear me say you're on the air, please give us your first name. Turn down your radio, and please keep the language clean. It is, after all, a holiday, and children might be listening. Yeah, right.
Children in West Marin, wouldn't that be?
Do
a
children
novelty?
listen to the radio?
Well, here's the thing. Now, my neighbor claims.
This is KWMR Point Reyes Station. The following is a required weekly test of the emergency alert system. In an actual emergency, like a flood, fire, or tsunami warning, an official message will follow the alert tone. But this is only a test.
Well, that was pleasant. Yes, we, every so often one of those happens, and you never know when it's going to come because you never know when emergencies are going to happen, so there you are. What is the
The
date today?
ghost at the feast.
23rd?
17 at 11:10. Yeah, anyway, carry on. I'll just fill out this form.
Ridiculous. What was that? I think it was deliberate sabotage. I think I recognize that voice. Anyway, what are you thankful for? 663-8492. What are you thankful for here on Thanksgiving? Shelley, will you be with your family for the? I won't be. I'm not going to be with my family this Thanksgiving. But are you doing something, familial?
Well, yeah, my dad and I are performing for the community Thanksgiving.
Oh, excellent.
Happening
Over
at the Dance Palace today.
What time and who can go?
Anybody can go. It's at 1 o'clock.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And performing meaning?
I'm playing the ukulele and singing, and Dad may sing along, or he may just entertain, because he's a very entertaining fellow.
Lovely.
And my daughter is here visiting, one of my daughters, and my granddaughter.
You get some grandma time.
So, but I...
How old is
I'm
this
kinda-
granddaughter?
She is 5.
5 years old. And where does she live?
She lives in Long Beach.
In Long Beach. My sister used to live in Long Beach. I've been to Long Beach many times.
Yeah. Long Beach is a hip town, if
I
you
went
know.
to the Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, did you?
The
Yeah.
Grand Prix.
Well, I'm sorry, for all of our listeners in the Midwest, Long Beach is also known as Miami. Because that's where Miami Vice was filmed. They filmed in the canals. No, they
that
did.
right?
I went to that sort of section of Long Beach. It's like, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Right, there
when it was
was
called Miami.
One of the hotels, older motels on the ocean there, got repainted Miami Vice colors.
Pastels.
Yeah, pastel
To
colors.
match the jackets.
Indeed. So
It's also known as Iowa by the Sea,
Iowa by the sea because all the Iowans who live there.
I guess. A lot of movie stars moved there back in the day, and so there's some big houses.
Big old mansions.
Well,
Kind of,
the
yeah.
funny you say about Iowa, there, Mark Kurlansky's book "America Eats," right, which was just sort of recompiling all of the WPA writing about the regional diets in America. He talked about the huge festivals that would happen in L.A.
Iowa?
That would be sort of by where you came from, and there was a big Iowa contingent that would
Fabulous.
meet on the beach. I don't know if it was Long Beach, but they would meet meet on the beach and have big parties and things like that. Is that why they call it Iowa? There's lots of people from Iowa there? No.
I don't have the
It's a little...
the information
It's like a
about
little
that, Charles.
Midwestern town with a huge port.
That's right. So if Long Beach's Dewey Livingston wants to call in, the number is 663-8492.
So, speaking of that, about different kinds of food, there was a nice little article by Jim Hightower talking about food at Thanksgiving. It was the Aztecs who first domesticated the turkey. Of course, the Spanish thought it was from Turkey. That's why it's called turkey, or I guess that's where that came from somehow. The Spanish.
Oh, I see.
When they invaded. They thought Turkey was located in Africa too, apparently. But let's see. The proponents... so the story is that it was the Mayflower immigrants, the Pilgrims, coming to what they called Plymouth, Massachusetts. Not very original because, they sailed from Plymouth in England.
The Plymouth Brethren, come now. That's a good topic.
1621, but not so. Say the proponents of the
1620.
Jamestown colony down in Virginia. They claim the Thanksgiving feast was first had there in 1608. Ooh. But hold your horses, pilgrims. Folks in El Paso, Texas, say it began there in 1598 when Spanish settlers sat down with people of the Piro and Manso tribes and feasted on roasted duck, geese, and fish. And then a Florida group, the very first Thanksgiving happened in 1565 when the Spanish settlers of St. Augustine, the oldest town in North America,
Moldy.
with friends from the Timucuan tribe, chowed down on cocido, a stew of salt pork, garbanzo beans, and garlic, washing it all down with red wine.
Well, gracious.
Now we're talking.
That's happening right now in Ross, I think. That's,
Exactly. Cocido in the Ross. So there's this concept now, the Earth dinner. It's not about eating Earth. It's about food is not merely consumed, but is the focus of table talk, reminiscing, singing, laughing, game playing, whatever else you can dream up. So it's about being conscious of the food that you have and knowing where it comes from and all that. So who's doing that? Organic Valley family of products is sort of pushing that one.
Well, let me just say this as briefly as I can.
Thank you very much. Moving on.
663-8492 is the number. Please do call us on Thanksgiving. There'll be no judgment here except for my terrifying judgment of you personally. And
then God's judgment of you.
Well, I'm synonymous with my own, I'm sure. But anyway,
Because you are God. You know that.
Well,
We all are God.
Shelley, not on
in
the
this
air.
studio.
Anyway, it's embarrassing when you do it to me on the air.
Charles, that was our secret.
It was.
May I just remind you,
was.
God, she's wearing a clown suit.
Yes, she is. But that's our thing. That's our thing. How dare you judge us? You said there would be no judgment on this show. It's beautiful. The Puritans represent the most terrifying strain of Americanism. What we think of all the bad things that we think about America, because they believed they were utopians. They were perfectionists. They thought if you just had enough power, you could create the city of God, the kingdom of God here on earth, and so once they had that power, they use it in terrifying ways. They were absolutely brutal and awful. And to this day, that strain of thought that if you just had enough power or control, you could perfect your life. You could perfect the place we live in. You could bring democracy to other countries.
Well, that was not their point. That was definitely not their point.
No, but I'm saying that strain of thought.
The myth about the Puritans is that they came here for religious freedom. No, they came here for
religious control.
They wanted to establish a religious nation, and they knew there was lots of land. That's why they came.
Well, I think it was to me. It's
when they arrived at
Plymouth Rock, 1620,
there was already fields there because the Wampanoags had been there, but they'd all been wiped out by plague and smallpox. So
that's
it was all kind of ready-made for them when they.
I would just say on Thanksgiving, I'd like Americans to think about this desire for control and think about our utopian fantasies and see them as destructive, see them as not a healthy thing. That there's another actually great tradition, also comes from England, which is the Quaker tradition, which is about the freedom of expression and the equality of women, and the
Pacifism?
Pacifism, etc. So we have another great American religious tradition that is not this destructive Puritanism, that is this other thing, which was represented by the Quakers. Now the Quakers became rich and corrupt and blah, blah, blah. So does everybody. But if you look back into our history, there is an American story that is a positive thing rather than such a negative thing, which I think the Puritans are. And by the way, I'm sure to some extent, yeah, my family came to Massachusetts Bay Colony in the early 1630s. So I no doubt I share in that somewhat.
Hence your rapacity.
Well, yes, well. I had to. Would you just go to?
What about your family?
Yeah, where did you come from, Shelley? Right here on Thanksgiving?
Did they arrive with the pilgrims?
Well, can't all you know.
I don't know. I just know that Thanksgiving. Let's talk about Thanksgiving
Let's talk
gatherings.
about Thanksgiving gatherings.
Yeah.
Family.
You don't want to talk
Friends.
about your personal history.
Family, friends, and
I
food.
don't have enough information.
Well, that is an American problem. You should really go find out your roots this Thanksgiving, too.
Roots.
Go roots or rugs. Find your rugs. Noise. I did an Alan Watts there. But anyway, so Thanksgiving celebrations, you were saying, Shelley.
Well, we mostly would gather at my mother's parents' home because my grandmother was the cook. She cooked everything from scratch, and it was always very good, very elegant.
What would it be
Long
usually?
Beach? In Long Beach?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving in Long Beach, and Paul asked, what would it be? What
would it be?
Yes.
Well,
Hawaiian pizza, probably. Long Beach.
roasted turkey,
Oh, I
of
see.
course.
Yeah.
Homemade gravy.
Ooh.
The mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes. One of the things that my grandmother put on the table that I don't see generally was pickled watermelon rinds.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those?
No. I was going to think the onion dish. What is that? Sort of creamed onions or something like that.
Right, the pearl onions.
Pearl, yeah. My grandmother used to make some kind of creamed or something onion.
Yeah.
Pickled watermelon rinds.
Pickled watermelon rinds.
Sure, this wasn't Arkansas.
As a child, they were quite a treat. They're very, very sweat.
Oh, they're sweet.
So you
They're
pickle them in sugar.
extremely sweet. Yeah, so they're pickled in a sugary liquid.
Where was she from? I mean, where does that tradition come from? Where was she born?
One of my grandparents, I think, was born in Grand Junction, Colorado.
On the train line.
And it might have been my grandmother, but I'm not, I don't remember for sure. But yeah, pickled watermelon rinds and spiced peaches, which also came in a jar.
Spiced with?
Spicy things. So they were also
Picante.
soaked. They were soaked in a sweet liquid as well. So think about typical canned peaches in a heavy syrup. But these have, some cloves and cinnamon and things like that.
But so not not pepper spice. No. Well, I mean, it's the richness of the foods. We don't eat such a rich diet anymore.
Right.
Back to Mark Kurlansky's America Eats, it's when you went into the Northeast and the diet there was so much molasses and everything, and so much, whatever. If you had butter, there'd be so much butter and everything, and we eat a much lighter diet, I guess.
All the corn syrup is in everything.
Well, right,
prepared
yeah,
foods,
that's
right.
Right. I think, when you come to a traditional meal, like a Thanksgiving meal, sometimes people, might eat things that normally they don't eat. I was just listening to a woman talking about, let's say you embrace a healthy, good-for-you diet, which is, the best one that I know of is a plant-based diet.
Sure.
So you go to Thanksgiving and what do? You say, "Hi, happy Thanksgiving."
What's that smell?
Pass the carrots. So, how do you handle being at Thanksgiving at someone else's home when you can't eat most of what they're offering you?
Well, this is to me the mistake of vegetarians. One, don't be a vegetarian for ethical reasons. You're just a smug idiot. I'm talking to you, Stephen Hurwitz, couldn't join us today. By the way, I did look it up, and the EPA says that the sources of carbon and environmental impacts in the United States, the ag sector is 9%. And what I said was electricity and transportation, over half of the impact. So, Stephen, you were wrong. Not that I trust the EPA for everything. But I would say what that should represent to us is the role that meat, I hope, will come to play in our life, which is it's a celebration. It's not a big turkey.
It's supposed to be a feast food anyway.
That's right, a feast food, not a big turkey every day, not a big turkey every week. Once just as sashimi is in Japan, was traditionally, it was this is your birthday, this is some special day, so you have a very rich food, right? You have meat.
In America, we've adopted the habit of eating meat as a must-have.
Every day,
every meal. Bacon.
I'm like, delicious. If you have any bacon, steak, or hamburgers, please come to the state.
We do have a caller.
Oh, fabulous.
Happy Thanksgiving, caller. You're on the air. What's your name, please? And please, what's your language?
Jonah Raskin.
Hey, Jonah, how are you?
Great. I've enjoyed listening to you. I just came back from a restaurant in Santa Rosa. Came back to my house that's offering free Thanksgiving dinners to anybody who has suffered or inconvenienced by the fire. My house did not burn down, but I had a forced evacuation from Santa Rosa, and I went to Marshall, and that's where I spent part of the time when the fires were blazing.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I've noticed is that there are stories about Thanksgiving in all over the country, places where there have been hurricanes and tornadoes and mass shootings. And a lot of people in those places say, I'm not doing anything for Thanksgiving. I'm staying home in bed. I don't feel like I have anything to be thankful for. But in the local media, Northern California media, there's a different voice or chorus. People here saying, oh, yes, I'm so fortunate. I'm so thankful. I'm so lucky. There does seem like a real split between what people say around here. I mean, Marin, Sonoma, Napa, and what the chorus of voices other places. I was wondering whether any of you had any insight into why that might be.
Well, here we are in the Elysian fields, after all.
Well, I think that a lot of people are, waking up a little bit to being able to recognize how they can be grateful when facing hardships, and what can they take away from that hardship and make their lives better because of it. Okay. And so being able to have that kind of perspective, I think, can really help anyone, no matter what. And I know, losing your home, it's no laughing matter. It's not, a walk in the park for sure. So what positive outcome can come of that?
Well, I just think that the conditions, say, in the West Marin, saying we're ingrates, it's because in Max Weber's terms, in the Protestant ethic, we are the elect. We have our prosperity is a sign of our godliness.
Sure, but he's talking about not just here. He's talking about you're talking about the victims as well, right? I mean, in the areas that were damaged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, people who are battered, burned down, family members shot and killed.
Can we? I want to plug your books, Jonah Raskin, but I also this restaurant that's giving out free meals. Can we plug them?
Yes. It's Franchetti's. I don't know if you can still go and receive Thanksgiving meal, but you could certainly call Franchetti's on Dutton in Santa Rosa. They said earlier that they were going to be giving out 600 free meals, and as I said, I had a mandatory evacuation. I called them and I said, "Does that qualify me?" And they said, "Yes, absolutely." So I went by there and I got my dessert. I got my turkey and stuffing. I got mashed potatoes and green beans. I mean, there's enough food. I got a huge salad dressing, cranberry. You know, there's enough food here for 3 people.
Excellent.
You can bring it on over.
Yes.
That's right. That's
You're
right.
here.
You could join us. I want to say quickly, and we'll get back to your message, Jonah Raskin, but you're a biographer of Abby Hoffman. Any Abby Hoffman fans? Jonah Raskin wrote the definitive biography.
Thank you.
Of Abby Hoffman. And also, am I right in thinking you have a recent publication, something just come out?
Yes. And I'm going to send you a copy. It's a murder mystery.
Ah, going fiction.
Noir murder mystery, and maybe I could be on the air and talk to you about noir and murder mystery.
I think it'd be fabulous. I mean, if not on this show, certainly we'll get somebody
your
here. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
And we can talk about why Jerry Rubin is such a creep. By the way, Sim Vanderen, if you remember my interview with Sim in the Point Reyes Light, said he and Jerry Rubin went to Est, and they both walked out together. And then Sim just said, I guess Jerry went back.
Yes, that's a very funny story.
It amused me, but I don't mean to get you off your topic for today, which is what's going on with Thanksgiving.
How come people are celebrating
here
after
I'm
destruction?
going to some friend's house in about an hour, and I go there every Thanksgiving. And one of the hosts, Peter, every Thanksgiving he sits at the head of the table and he looks around. And he says, "I'm very thankful that you're all here and you're all alive and you're all relatively healthy." And he'll probably say that again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what survivors of terrible mishaps have to be thankful for.
Yeah.
I mean, in the midst of all the misery and terrible things.
Well, I think it's a good thing because, in a way, it reminds us that our relationship to suffering. And again, I despise American Buddhism, but setting that to one side for the moment, our relationship to suffering is the defining experience of life, and that's where the idea of celebration comes from. Is saying, okay, look at this terrible thing that happened. Let's get together. Let's have a party. A little excess.
Yeah.
And that's excellent. And I know you like to read poetry. Will you be reading any poetry at this party, Mr. Raskin?
Charles, I'm going to take some poetry. I also have a new book of poems that were, I guess you could say, inspired by the fires.
Oh.
So I'm going to bring and read some of my new fire poems, and I'll also, that'll be out in about 2 weeks. I'll also send you a copy of that, but I'm going to send you a copy of my murder mystery to us. I can send it to the station. Is that good?
Yeah, send it to the station. Excellent. And quick question, what is the name of your murder mystery?
Dark Land, Dark Mirror.
And where can listeners get that book?
Well, probably Amazon. I hate to say it, but probably Amazon is the most convenient way to get it.
And quick question, Jonah Raskin, is there a poem you could share with us for Thanksgiving? It has to be clean.
Well, so now,
Paul has to do announcements.
Yeah. So I'll do some announcements. You look for a poem, and I'll do some announcements.
Okay, I'm looking right now.
Okay, this is KWMR, Point Reyes Station, 90.5, 89.9 Bolinas, 92.3 San Geronimo Valley FM, that is, and streaming live on KWMR.org and cablecasting on Horizon Cable, Channel 47. And KWMR is supported by listener members and by To Celebrate Life Breast Cancer Foundation. There you are. We're talking about celebration. Celebrate Life Breast Cancer Foundation, raising funds to help underserved women and men living with breast cancer. Through its Bay Area Breast Cancer Grants program, the foundation supports nonprofits that provide direct and emergency services and believes that no one should face breast cancer alone. Information about how to get involved is available at tocelebratelife.org. And KWMR, also supported by Energy Upgrade, California's home upgrade program, sponsored by the County of Marin, helping homeowners make energy efficiency upgrades to their homes to save money and the environment and improve home comfort. One-on-one support available by calling a home upgrade advisor at 866-878-6008 or by visiting marincounty.org/energy upgrade. And we're also supported by the College of Marin, offering 62 associate degrees and 54 certificate programs for in-demand Bay Area careers, as well as new degrees for students wanting to transfer to a UC or state university. Weekend classes start January 20th. Weekday classes... What? Sorry, excuse me. Weekend classes start January 20th. Weekday classes start January 22nd. Registration and information about financial aid available now at marin.edu. And, Jonah, do you have a poem for us? Or?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. It's called The Phoenix and Superman. The Phoenix and Superman. To be reborn like the phoenix, he must die and turn to ashes, though he does not believe those who tell him that which does not destroy him makes him stronger. He does not want or wish to be stronger. He does not desire to wear a cape, have X-ray vision, and leap tall buildings in a single bound like Superman, who never gets to go on vacation, take a nap, canoodle with Lois Lane, and who ought to have learned from the Phoenix that he would only have eternal life if he embraced kryptonite, negated his superness, made friends with Clark Kent, his twin and double, who dies and is reborn every day, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, a comic book hero for a comic book nation too weak to really fight for truth, justice, and the American Indian way. There you go.
Nice. Love the surprise ending there. That was cute.
Okay.
Excellent, Jonah. Thank you very much. Happy
Welcome.
Thanksgiving.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Jonah
Bye,
Raskin.
thanks for calling.
Bye, all.
Bye.
Take care. That was Jonah Raskin. His new book, a murder mystery, is going to get mailed here to KWMR, and we'll have him on the show to discuss that. And he was the definitive biographer of Abby Hoffman. If you're a fan of the Yippies, that is a history that you would probably like to read. I don't know if that is carried at Point Reyes Books. I suppose if he had recast it as a cat calendar or some Buddhist Yaz,
So now,
they might have it there.
So give us a call, won't you? 663-8492. Tell us what you're having today for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm a friend of mine. A good friend of mine has made a gluten-free stuffing to go with our dinner today.
Oh, gee.
It's almond flour. It's lovely. It's apples, dates. It's celery and onions and sage and thyme and...
Let me just say, it's the 100th anniversary of the
fabulous.
Russian Revolution. If you would like to invade the station and kill this bourgeois swine...
May I say that there were no pies at the original Thanksgiving because they didn't have any wheat flour and they didn't have an oven.
So they were gluten-free, too, is what you're telling me.
Gluten-free,
They were
too.
gluten-free. Thank you. Thank you. I think your gluten-free stuffing is an abomination.
It's delicious.
I want a heavy, rich foods. That's the idea. That's the idea.
So
Yeah,
what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Charles?
Well, I mean, in theory, my neighbor said that she would be listening to this, and I have to think she's got lots of teenage children, so I'd have to be careful what I say on the show today. But I would just be walking over to my neighbor's house, who they're going to make a turkey and do all that. Normally, Paul Elmore and I have enchiladas and watch football. That's our Thanksgiving. But I think today I'm going to wander over to my neighbor's house and have
For the
turkey
feast.
with them. For the feast, that's right.
Excellent.
I'm going to steal the turkey and take it back to my place. There'll be lots of little children
And
disappointed.
if you're, if you don't have anywhere to go, and if you feel like joining in with the community gathering over at the Dance Palace.
That's
Where
right.
Shelley Rugg will be playing ukulele.
That's right.
Okay, so tell me, what is the event? I mean, what happens? And by the way, do call in, 663-8492. I only pitch it over to Shelley when I'm absolutely desperate. Please, call in.
Oh, boy.
That's a joke. Jeez, Shelley, please. What's going on at the dance palace? Why is yours bigger than mine? Oh, there's the Thanksgiving question.
well.
Have either of you been to the community Thanksgiving before?
Yes.
You
yes,
have.
I calved. Sorry, I'm becoming so American.
You parked the car and carved the turkey.
I carved turkey there, 3 years in a row, I think, back earlier days.
Okay. All right. How about you, Charles? Ever been?
No.
Okay.
No, never.
All right.
But do tell. This is at the Dance Palace here in Point Reyes at 1 p.m.
Yeah. So it's put on by West Community Services.
West Marin Community Services.
West Marin Community Services, and volunteers. And so there are volunteers in the community who take a turkey home and prepare the turkey at home.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's remotely prepared.
Right. So all these people are preparing the food for the feast at their own homes, and then they bring it to the Dance Palace.
Very nice.
And it gets served up to whoever shows up. And they pack the church space and the main hall with tables, probably spills out into the outdoors as well.
Nice.
And last year when I went, the people sitting across the table from us were actually from out of town. And that they specifically enjoy coming to this huge community Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's a lovely thing and a great tradition here in West Marin.
Yeah.
Other than your performance, are there other performances people can anticipate? They go?
We're the greeters. See, so we'll be in the lobby when people show up, and just to kind of give a little atmosphere.
Nice. That's lovely.
So,
and is there, there's no entertainment during the meal?
I don't think so.
No, usually don't think there is there?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
It's everyone
just people talking and
Yes,
eating
exactly.
food and.
Everyone should be talking to each other as they feast.
And I have to say, my father was rather upset last year because there were no appropriate drinks for him.
Appropriate meaning?
Sweet.
Bourbon. Oh, sweet.
Yes, it must be juice or soda pop, or he doesn't want to drink it.
Neat, sweet bourbon.
So we actually had to depart early.
Oh, dear.
You wanted
Yeah.
a Coca-Cola or something? I love a Coca-Cola.
So you're taking some with you this year?
So that's why I said we better bring a drink with us this time. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, it's a lovely thing every year. Very nice. It's good for the local folks who can't afford or don't have anywhere to go for.
Yeah, and for me, I appreciate it because I'm participating in the open studios this year, and I've got a lot of work to do still before it opens tomorrow at 11.
Well, plug that again. Tomorrow at 11. Where's
Point
your,
Reyes Open Studios
where's
is
your
happening.
studio?
My studio's in Inverness Park.
Where in Inverness Park? It's a secret. It's a secret.
It's on the map.
It's on the map.
Oh,
That's
on
the
map.
easiest,
You don't want
yeah.
to say. You don't want to say.
Do you know what number you are?
I'm number 10.
Oh, that's a good
I'm
number.
number 10 on the map. This is my first time. I just joined the group, and so yeah, it's a whole new experience for me. So not needing to be in the kitchen all day. Although I actually do enjoy that. That's for me. Thanksgiving has traditionally been about being in the kitchen all
Preparing
day
food.
and making food.
Lovely.
And today, my task will be to prepare 2 apple pies this evening.
Excellent.
One for my immediate family and one to bring to a potluck tomorrow.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah.
Well, this is the time when people's cooking talents come to the fore, right? I mean, even men sometimes cook
Possibly.
stuff.
Some people are very afraid of that Thanksgiving meal preparation.
Don't know how to cook a turkey.
You
I
know,
must
they're
admit,
not.
I'm not a great roaster of meats.
Wow, strange for an Englishman.
Just
You know-
I know. I just don't have I don't know. I do have an oven, but I
My
rarely
grandmother
use it.
taught me how to roast a chicken when I was younger. And the thing that amazed me was that, and this is the point that she was making, is it is the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
really, literally could just put that chicken in the oven and put it on 400 and roast
Leave
it for an hour.
Right.
And it's amazing.
There you go.
But people
And you
want to
put
do all kinds of
garlic
things to it.
cloves under the skin.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuffings inside. Of course, we don't have Thanksgiving in my childhood
No.
when I was in England. But it's like Christmas dinner.
Well, the
It was
turkey-
always turkey. at
Well,
Christmas
that's
dinner.
from Edwardian England, although
And,
Henry VIII had a turkey. It was not popularized until, when we say Edwardian, we mean Edward the Seventh? Which Edward do we mean? Edward the Seventh, I suppose, of England.
Seventh?
It was
No,
sixth. Sixth.
Maybe the fifth, actually.
No, and not Edward
I
the
only know
Fifth,
about
for God's sake.
Edward
Henry
III.
VIII.
No, yes, Edward the First. He built all those castles in Wales, and also, yes, had turkey. No,
You
it's
remember him.
Edward. Well, no,
Edward Cooking Man.
he did. Call us, please, if you have knowledge of
English history.
the English monarchy. Please do call in 663-8492. What? Say anything. This is Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving. You can say anything.
The two things- you could be
say-
alone.
Charles, cover
say
your
what you're
ears.
thankful for. You could say what you're not thankful
Cover
for.
my ears.
Your ears, yeah, cover your ears, quick.
Why?
I'm going to a vegan potluck Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Oh man.
Hey.
These people are sick. They're sick and
wonderful.
deranged.
It's a wonderful
Actually, the reason that this is happening is because the person who decided to do this event healed himself from cancer
Oh.
by going to a plant-based diet. So
There
he's
you go.
very, very
One of my dear
motivated.
friends in Long Beach,
Yes.
did go to a raw and mostly fruit-based diet when she got cancer, and I think it did help. And so I would never dissuade anybody from experimenting with different kinds of diets to deal with an extreme situation.
Yeah.
Mary was her name. Mary, what was Mary's last name? It's crazy. I can't.
No surnames, please.
It's a Greek name. I forget now. But she lived in Long Beach. That's the first reason I went to Long Beach was to visit her. She'd been a friend of my mother's, and she had gone to. It's the first time I had a Charlene, which is a kind of melon. I had a Charlene. Yes, I had a Charlene, delicious melon, and she had the same approach, which is she was suffering from a cancer thing. She had been a chemist and had been exposed to extremely toxic chemicals for long periods of time, and that had given her cancer. It killed her husband, and I think she may have prolonged her life with this plant-based diet, with this fruit-based diet, a raw diet.
May have prolonged her life. So what are you saying?
She died of cancer.
She did.
and as her husband did too. I think maybe it helped, and I think it was beautiful in a way too. It was wonderful to encounter her. She was a very intense and wonderful presence. I've treasured the brilliant women that I've met in my life, and she was one of them. And but I would say I do also know a couple that are no longer together that attempted to have a raw Thanksgiving. They're going to have a raw Thanksgiving
In the nude, Charles?
no, not necessarily. I don't know. I didn't ask the question. Wonderful Jennifer and what was her? And Jennifer and Sean, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Thankfully, not listening or not calling in 663-8492.
8492.
Jennifer, Sean, if you're both still there, call in.
So the story of the raw Thanksgiving.
It was so traumatizing and horrible that Jennifer got up from the table and just started putting pieces of toast in the toaster so somebody would have some heat, and then spreading them with mayonnaise and eating them in a sort of frantic way. Because I think if you're trying to do something,
craving the satiety of the fat and
oh yeah, well
the crunch. You can't get crunch without
can't get crunch,
without
exactly.
baking things.
well, the thing is, I think that
Except for fruit.
To me,
Nuts,
don't be a vegan, don't be a vegetarian for some kind of ethical, reason. Do it because it's for your health. Do it because you have cancer and this diet is going to be helpful. If you do it because you think it has some spiritual dimension, some virtuous dimension, that is a nightmare. That is a sinful path. Forget it. Do it for your health. Don't do it because you think you're going to save the world. Because if you're doing it,
because Charles said.
That's right.
As Charles said. Because think about it. I talk to vegetarians all the time. They fly constantly because I'm worried about carbon. I'm not going to eat a goat. But aren't you going
We
to
aren't
Kuala Lumpur and back?
perfect, Charles. We can't be
Oh
all
no!
things.
This is the thing. That's a sinful. Forget it. I'd say be vegetarian for your health. Be vegan for your health. Don't tell me that this is your virtue because it just isn't. If you want to be virtuous,
I think for some people it truly is, though, Charles.
I really
It's
don't think
immoral,
so.
it's
I think there are
immoral.
people that crazy.
They,
No,
well,
no,
I mean,
calm
if you've
down, calm
seen
down.
how
Please.
animals are treated in,
I did that one time. That was just once, and that cow deserved it. I go. Me and Charlie Rose were by the udders.
Well, you know,
and,
the
anyway,
industry.
We had a grope.
The industry can be very horrific. And,
Sure, but that's a question about industry. That's not a question about eating meat or not eating meat. That's a question about industrialization. So again,
that's where most of the meat in America comes from. I mean,
absolutely true.
If you're living in those,
so you should be upset about industrialization, not about meat.
Well, exactly. Well, but
this is the thing.
If you are upset about industrialized farming, and you can't afford to pay premium prices for organic or grass-fed out here as we do out here,
you could steal.
Then
no,
what do
that's
you do?
right.
You're
But I would say that
wrong?
meat should become a celebratory thing.
Can you slaughter your own?
I have.
You have? What did you slaughter?
A goat, and it was unpleasant.
Oh.
Yeah, it was unpleasant. I've seen a cow or a calf be slaughtered as well. Also unpleasant experience. But I would say, because this is a celebratory
And you can
thing.
still eat those things?
Yes, absolutely. And what I would say is that it should become a kind of celebration. I mean, this is Americans who are saying that death doesn't exist. Oh, by the way, we're bombing the world, America. This is Ho Chi Minh's
Happy
Thanksgiving message.
everybody.
Exactly. Ho Chi Minh's Thanksgiving messages. Stop worrying about, I don't want to eat a bunny or a chicken. We are literally killing tens of thousands of people every year or hundreds of thousands. But so what I'm saying is it should become celebratory. I'm not saying people shouldn't eat meat. I think I like eating meat, and I think meat is a part of our diet. That is how we've evolved. It's who we are, but not every day. And maybe it should be celebratory. And maybe you don't eat turkey every week. Maybe eat turkey once a year or twice a year.
It's a feast food. Red meats, don't eat them every day.
Don't eat them every day. Oh, it's very bad for your health.
Yes, exactly.
I accept that. I think children need meat. Absolutely. I mean, the protein and the vitamins they get from that is very important for their development. I think
it's the thing about religion and fundamentalism and all that is a broad streak in Americans, and if they decide on something, they're going to do that.
This is the Puritans, fundamentalist diet.
There's also the politics of food, and that we've been, manipulated for as long as it's been going on, to believe that, for example, the only way we're going to get enough protein in our diet is to eat meat. Mm-hmm. But that's not a fact.
Right.
Oh, if you're really, really rich and really goofy and really, really morally and historically absent from your own life, yes, you could imagine that if you have enough peanuts, you'd be fine.
Oh, Charles. You can get them from green leaves,
Yeah, proteins are available everywhere. And,
not just peanuts.
You put your hand down there. It's very patriarchal.
No. It's because I had a great point to make, and it just slipped my mind.
Oh.
It's gone. But I'm thankful that it was there in my mind just for a moment. And I'm thankful that it's now gone into the noosphere, where someone else will pick it up.
Someone will catch it and let it out.
663-8492. Please call us.
Call us. Tell us your recipes.
Okay,
we could go till we can go as long as
there's
you like.
nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Robot Radio.
Professor Cosmo is on all day today.
Oh, indeed. Robot Radio. We can preempt. If somebody wants to call in, we have 10 minutes. If you call in 12 minutes, we still will be here.
We need a recipe.
Yes. Recipe would be lovely. Please, a recipe.
I have a recipe for sweet potato. I usually make mashed sweet potato.
Okay.
With roasted almonds, slivered almonds in it, garlic in it. It's a savory sweet potato. And pomegranate seeds on top.
Nice.
Pomegranate seeds are an integral part of Thanksgiving for me.
Do you put the pomegranate seeds on after the potatoes come out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sprinkle them on. Although, actually, no, because when they come out, because I don't bake it. I just mash them with lots of butter.
Oh, okay. So the potatoes have been cooked, and then they get
and then you mix some of the seeds into the mashed potatoes, and then more on top.
Oh.
Pomegranate mashed potatoes.
And I did tried that new method that I found new to me, method for peeling a pomegranate.
Oh, yeah.
Peeling a pomegranate, which is ancient Greek innuendo, incidentally.
And then
fantastic.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to know, it's on YouTube.
It's so perfectly designed, that pomegranate.
Just search
we just don't realize it.
Peeling a pomegranate.
I would, but to get back to the real point,
too.
which you're trying to avoid with your nonsense pomegranate noodling,
and pomegranate seeds on the outside of a log of goat cheese, lovely.
Ooh,
go ahead, Charles.
These decadent creatures.
Yes.
What I would say is place your virtue in virtue. Don't place it in your diet. Because, for instance, I think that the combustion engine is one of the things that's causing climate change and destruction of the world. Do I drive? Yes, I do drive. And so I don't say to myself, well, you can't possibly want to change the world in a positive way because, look, you're somebody who drives.
Well, you're just a horrible person.
I'm a hypocrite. People should deal with their hypocrisy. And that's why I say if you want to have a diet that is meat-free, please do, and do it for your health. But please don't tell me that that's your virtue, because as Americans, our virtue needs to be ending these wars, ending systems of hierarchy and exploitation, which immiserate Americans and, of course, all the people. Immiserate.
I say get your virtue wherever you can get it.
Don't get your virtue wherever you get it, because then you just live in West Marin and you're a goofball.
There's too many things.
No,
nobody can be
Shelley's
perfect.
wrong.
Nobody.
Get your virtue at the thrift store.
Charles.
I bought a button that says I'm virtuous. Isn't that nice?
Don't make
my
me cut you off, Charles.
No, I'll cut you off.
Hey, so I'm making a vegan pumpkin pie.
Excellent.
So what does that mean? It means
Did you put your knife into the pumpkin? Do you think the pumpkin wanted to die?
I said pumpkin
what would
pie.
Other than a vegan pumpkin pie?
It is vegan. Well,
No.
Flour?
Wait a minute.
Butter?
Okay, you guys clearly don't bake, but
I do.
I made a mistake. I'm not making a pumpkin pie because I don't know how to make a vegan pumpkin pie, and here's why. Because
Butter.
the butter is the crust. The pumpkin, when you have a pumpkin pie, it's a custard. That means eggs and cream go in there.
Oh, really?
That's what makes
See,
the
I did not know
pumpkin
that.
hold together and be all creamy and smooth. And I don't know how to replace the cream and the eggs to make a pumpkin pie, but I'm going to make an apple pie. And it's going to be vegan because instead of butter in the crust, I am using coconut oil
Perfect.
in the crust.
See, and coconut oil
So
is
here's
a wonderful
the hint
flavor, too.
how to do it. You measure the coconut oil that you need, and then you put it in the freezer for a little bit. So it gets
Coconut
nice
oil,
and...
destroying Indonesia for your
Yeah, Charles, I'm
nonsense
not
virtue.
virtuous.
No, of course not.
So,
How is it destroying anything? Coconut
no,
palms.
I mean,
well,
the
food,
coconut
the
oil
politics
industry?
of food
You're
again.
thinking
oil?
about palm oil. That's a different thing. Palm oil and coconut oil, two different things. Just so you know. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
How are they different?
They're different plants.
Oh, this plant talk, that's where you go
Coconut
wrong.
is a
as I've
tree.
said.
Palm is a
Okay, so
palm
here's
oil is- yes.
the key. So when you make a pie crust, you need the butter to be firm and cold, and you put ice water in. And so it needs to be cold so that the butter doesn't melt as you're making the crust.
Okay.
It stays in little tiny bits. And then when it bakes, those bits melt into the dough, and that's what gives it the flakiness, right?
Lovely.
Use
So
that butter.
with coconut
Delicious
oil,
butter. Exploit a cow.
I
this
love
hot
butter.
Thanksgiving.
Don't get me wrong.
Oh.
But so to use the coconut oil, you have to put it in the freezer first, so it's nice and firm. Cut it up into little bits, and then you can pretty much use
Does
it
the
the
same
same
thing.
way.
Interesting.
Yeah. You just have to, not overhandle it, because
It's a good
as soon as
flavor,
it
too.
touches your fingers, it
It
starts
melts.
to melt.
Yeah, right.
So, but that's why chilling it is the key.
Excellent. Good
there's
tips.
your
Any more
tip
tips?
for
You have
vegan pie
about
crust.
5 minutes.
I have a
to
tip.
call
Don't
us with
pretend
tips.
that your diet has anything to do with goodness or badness.
Wow, you
stop.
just
Okay,
can't
we
stop.
got that.
I am so thankful.
Why can't you stop? I mean,
We've
you
got-
don't want a point to be
no,
made.
we have-
We're in
No,
West
you
Marin.
made
How
the
dare
point.
a point be
I
made?
think you've
Repeatedly.
made the point.
The same
well,
point.
not. No.
Over.
The heathens. I would be a great Thomas More. I would torture all of my enemies. You would be tortured.
Repeatedly.
Dear, dear.
What's that?
Repeatedly.
What did I do? No. I would be a wonderful Thomas More. I would torture all of my enemies. And
Oliver Cromwell.
Well, I am thankful
Cromwell,
for
he got away. The one that got
KWMR
away.
radio station,
Thomas Cromwell.
and that I can come on here and
Lie.
tell lies with Charles.
663-8492. How much
suit.
time do we have?
In my
we have
clown suit.
2 minutes in a clown suit. Shelley Rugg in a clown suit.
With faux fur,
lying with
because
her
I
every
care
breath.
about animals.
Faux fur, yeah.
Care about animals. Not Iraqis, but animals. That's my real focus. Human beings,
I
well,
love
they got to
that.
die.
Good
But I'm going to
heavens.
say Fluffy.
Is that what you call raccoons? Rackies?
Rackies.
so cute.
Rackie. Oh, we just killed some rackies. 1 million rackies died. But I don't eat meat, so I'm a good person.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
We
We
cannot
got the
be
point.
perfect.
Holy moly.
We can't solve
No,
all
but
the world's
but you're
problems.
pretending to be perfect. That's the problem.
Nobody's pretending.
is.
Why can't you?
Absolutely. This
why
is
can't you-
religious. This
why
is
can't-
religious.
She's just not
Why
eating meat.
can't-
What's
why-
wrong?
No, she's saying it's a good thing. She's saving the world. It's not saving the world. It's
Who
saving
You
said
didn't
that?
say that.
Nobody
You said that,
said
I
that.
believe.
Oh, well, then it's just foolish.
So, I think
fine.
that when it
It
comes
is. It has a
to-
spiritual dimension. Are you
Thank you.
denying it has a spiritual dimension?
I'm saying that when it comes to all the problems of the world and all the
Yes.
wrongs and all the things that we don't like, that every little bit can make
help.
a difference.
Of
And we
course.
can't do
No,
everything.
see, I cut you off, Charles. It's okay.
That's a great one. But we have to kill all those Iraqis so I can be a vegan in West Moran.
If you can't hear Charles, it's because I've turned him off.
Oh, gracious.
Well,
Okay. Well,
Thanksgiving wishes. Am I still turned
Thanksgiving is a feast.
it
Whatever
is a
you
feast,
want
but
to eat, it's a feast.
our final
It's
thoughts, I mean,
getting
we-
together with
so
friends,
what are you
family.
thankful for, Charles?
off. What am I thankful? Oh my gosh, so much. Give me a break. I've always
Pick
survived on
one.
the kindness of strangers and friends. The thing is, I mean, living in a place like this, which is so rich and so beautiful, it overflows
Abundance.
with sensuality. Actually, you know, the cheese you eat is just gracious. Wow, I mean, we didn't even go on a date, but that was delicious. The it's everything out here is really fabulous, and I'm very fortunate to have a number of friends in Marshall, California.
Yeah,
And-
he needs a ride home.
Yeah, I do need a ride. What do you? That's very cynical, Mr. Raffel.
I'm thankful
In
for
that-
cynicism.
Carbon-based vehicle.
I'm very thankful for friends, family. Well, not family so much, actually. My family. Yeah, most of them are gone anyway. But new family, extended family. And yes, a wonderful life. What a life I've had.
Nice.
Especially being here with you two in studio.
Oh, he flatters. He's a
Oh,
Yeah,
flatterer.
you know, I was thinking about that, you know, I look back at my childhood and, you know, a lot of what I think about is, oh, gosh, that was a really hard one. It was really hard. But at the same time, there was so much that I got from both of my parents, even through all the hardship.
I didn't get
that-
anything from my father. It's just psychotic. Anyway, go on.
Oh, really?
Not like me.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so I guess, you know, again, back to what I was saying at the very top of the show is that we can find things to be thankful for,
Of course.
even when things were hard. I mean, if it hadn't been so hard for me, I wouldn't have been molded into the person I am today.
And you wouldn't be
So-
as thankful, perhaps, for the life that you're leading.
You know,
When it's all handed to you on a platter.
oh, yeah, no,
without
I worked
any-
hard to get
Yeah,
here.
there
yeah,
you go.
Yeah.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Eat whatever you want. Pay no attention to Charles. And
Pay all attention.
we'll
to Charles.
leave you-
Eat or
you
don't
meant to
eat,
say.
yeah.
leave
whatever
you
you
with a
want.
lovely little song from Ray Davis.
Oh,
Thanksgiving Day.
the Kinks.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Don't eat too much and drive carefully.
No, excess.
Bye
It's a
now.
celebration of excess. To eat too much.